Today I'm going to share with you how we do our weekly meal planning. Now, in the past, I've shared how we do our monthly meal planning, which actually stems from and is built off of our seasonal meal planning. But sometimes life happens and things don't exactly happen the way that we intend. And I end up in a position where if I want to have a meal plan, the most realistic thing to do is to go with the weekly meal plan. I think this will actually be helpful because if you're just getting started meal planning, we actually recommend you start smaller with that weekly meal plan as opposed to trying to jump into the longer term meal planning. So let's jump in and I'll show you our weekly meal planning. Now, the way that this is going to mainly work is I'm going to be pulling up a whole bunch of recipes from our spring recipe pack. Since this is kind of a form of seasonal meal planning, I'm going to pull from here, and then I also have our tried and true recipe list inside of our family food playbook. So inside of the spring recipe pack, there's actually a meal planning sheet that is included. It is a 2-page sheet that runs Monday through Sunday. And the great thing about this is that it's a little bit better than your average meal planning sheet because it includes things like advanced meal prep and preserving and making dressings and such from scratch, as well as other kitchen projects. So it doesn't just have your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner, but it has all of this that you can kind of pull together in one place. And since I'm going to use those sheets over and over and over again, I just print them out separately and I keep them in our This Week in the Kitchen binder. And we're going to get started like this. So the first thing that I do when I am doing any weekly meal plan is I look at the activities that we have going on for the week as well as the weather. And there's your little list. So normally I would go in and I would put in our themed meal plan, which is beef on Monday, something different on Tuesday, casserole dish on Wednesday, fast food on Thursday, fast food from scratch that is, cheeseburger salad on Friday, a wild card on Saturday, and then a roast or whole chicken or something on Sunday. Now, technically, that's our theme meal plan for like fall, winter, and spring. For the summer, it's a little bit different because we do try and cook a little bit less in the oven. So that coupled with the fact that it is the week of the 4th, I really am gonna ignore our themed meal plan this time. So from there, I'm gonna start working on breakfasts. Once I go through and I pick out everything from our seasonal meal plan or the spring recipe pack, I'm going to go through and look at our tried and true recipes and fill in the rest from there. I want to note that I'm really paying attention to the weather when I pick these meals because we do have some fluctuations. We've got one day in the 80s and we've got one day that our high is 67. And here in Colorado, we have lots of afternoon thunderstorms, and so I've got to also kind of play that into account as well. So then I'm going to move on to lunch and then to dinner. The one thing that I don't do is I don't try to fill in sides until I'm done with all of my main breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For me personally, it just feels a little bit more, I don't know, I get that sense of accomplishment, and then I can go in and do the sides, where if I try and do the sides along with the main meal, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, and if I get sidetracked, something happens and I have to step away from the meal plan, then I have main meal and side for like my breakfast and half of my lunches, and then I have nothing for dinner. So I'm just trying to prioritize what's the most important here as I work through it. Do you want to do cheeseburger tacos next Friday? I could do them again.
You could eat them again?
I also try to make sure that I'm not duplicating meats too often throughout the day. Try and scatter my chicken, my beef, my fish so that we're not having like chicken. And sometimes that happens and I end up having to move things around, so I just try and pay attention as I go. One thing that you can do to alleviate that problem is to start by just making a list of the meals that you want to have this week and then lay them out. That's a little bit easier if this isn't something that you do on a regular basis, but in this case, I'm just kind of throwing them in there. And sometimes I get stuck. I get like 1 or 2 meals and I'm like, I have no idea what to put in here. So I call Kevin over to help. Babe, can you please come here? I've got everything but Saturday dinner.
Chicken, beef. If I need to get eaten, you can just sell. You can do twice baked potatoes and sticks.
Okay. All right, so steak and twice baked potatoes for Saturday. Okay, so we have all of our breakfasts, lunches, and dinners filled in with a few sides that accidentally slipped their ways in. And so now I'm gonna go in and fill in all of the sides. And I'm gonna start by looking at the sides in the recipe pack. Okay, now that we've got everything input for our breakfasts, our lunches, our dinners, and all of our sides, I'm gonna go through and look at any advanced meal prep, any condiments, any salad dressings, any extra stuff that needs to be done to support those meals. Okay, so I think I have all my advanced meal prep. One thing that I wanna note is that if there are seasonings that I know need to be made or I want to make sure that we have made and on hand, I'll usually put them on one day as opposed to on each day that we need them, so that when we make the seasonings it's just all done at once as opposed to bringing everything out and making them multiple times during the week. Also with the salad dressings, I try to make multiple salad dressings at a time so that we don't have to make a new salad dressing with each and every meal. But from there, I'm gonna take a look at the different drinks that we make. And I know we do kefir on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and we do our kombucha every other Friday. So this is actually a kombucha day. There's lots of noises. This is actually a kombucha Friday, and so I'm gonna pick out a different flavors. I am using our Bucha challenge sheet. If you haven't signed up for the Bucha challenge, this gives you 50 different recipes that you can make second ferment bucha and kombucha, that is. And the first person to make all 50 recipes wins a $100 Azure Standard gift card. So we are slowly working our way through this, and we're excited to see who wins. Okay, the next is things like preserving and additional products. Now, my first tendency is to look at this and be like, we have a lot going on, I don't think we can squeeze anything else in. But the problem is that when you have that idea, when you have that mindset, it's really easy that nothing else ever happens. And so what I'm gonna do is just take a quick peek through the recipe pack and see if I've got any other ideas of things that I wanna squeeze in. I'm actually gonna look at this recipe pack, and I'm gonna go through our index in the preserving section. The recipe pack index lists all of the different recipes in all of the recipe packs. And so in the preserving section, it'll tell me if there's all the different recipes that we have. So I have, actually it's not in the preserving section, it's under the specific like pressure canning or water bath canning and whatnot. So fermented, we're doing pico, and I think that one fermenting project a week is sufficient. but I would love to dry some strawberries. And I want to do that on the day that is the coldest. And then here's another thing. I've been wanting to make a hazelnut extract and a mint extract. Now, these are things that take such little time. We actually usually do our extracts and tinctures after dinner, so it's something that does not take a lot of energy. And so I'm gonna try and squeeze these in on, I'm thinking about Thursday actually. Extracts. Even if we just did the mint extract, I know that that's super easy because we just go pull mint from the garden. The hazelnuts, I need to actually get those and roast them, so we'll do that a different week. But while we're doing that, it would be really easy to do a couple tinctures as well. All right, so I think we're good. I think that the one thing I don't have filled in is for our potluck, and we kind of just fill in whatever is necessary there, so I've got to wait until the middle of the week to finalize that. But I think everything else looks good. I feel really good about what we added in. This is something where if we were just kind of thinking about what are we going to eat on a daily basis, a lot of this would not happen. And when you sit down and you actually take the time to think about it and kind of play it out in your mind, it gives you the opportunity to fit things in that you wouldn't otherwise. So if you do not have the spring recipe pack, I will throw a link in the description. Right now, this is available at Pay What You Want pricing. If you're new to our recipe packs and you're really just not sure, feel free to drop $0 in there, grab it, take a look, and I hope that you'll be really impressed. I'm really happy with them. I think that they're a huge blessing to our family, and I hope that they are to yours as well.